What's going on, everybody? I am the Bad Duck and you are the internet. Welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about the new DC slate that got released yesterday. The one day I leave my house, they decide to release a whole bunch of shit. It just, of course, that's my luck. James Gunn released a whole slate. It's called Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters. It's the original plan for their Chapter 1 of the DC universe that's coming up. And from what I read particularly is pretty interesting. Well, let's kind of go through it. There is going to be a 7-episode animated series by Gunn, written by Gunn, at least, that has already started production. It's called Creature Commandos. Again, I don't know much about them. I mean, it's kind of just seems like we're doing Doom Patrol, but animated and weirder, which is kind of Gunn's forte, I guess. But, like, I'm going to put this up from the forefront. A Chapter 1, a Phase 1 should be setting up your building blocks, not delving into these weirder projects right away, because you need to drive audiences in first before you do anything. So it's interesting that they're going with this take. I don't understand it, but I mean, it is what it is. Moving on, there's gonna be a Waller live action show that takes place between Peacemaker season 1 and the upcoming Peacemaker season 2. Why? Of all the characters we can make a spin-off show, Amanda Waller could be interesting, but I really do not care about Amanda Waller per se. I care about the characters she interacts with and how she interacts with those characters. Probably will see them, but like, again, it doesn't seem the proper way to go through. I think Viola Davis is one of the best actresses in the world, but like, her character in the DC universe is probably one of the most uninteresting characters throughout. And that's not her fault. That's more to the writers and the directors who have made the movies she's starred in. I really don't care for Waller in general. And again, like I said, we're building up these smaller characters for these bigger characters, which makes no fucking sense. But we go into Superman Legacy, which came in 2025. It's not an origin story, but it's supposed to be a younger Clark. Just more of an old-fashioned type of Superman. And, I mean, I'm not against it. I like it. It seems interesting. I mean, I'm on board with it. Again, there's not many details that are available right now since we're more than 2 years away from this movie being a real thing. So again, I want to see a Superman movie. I don't know. It's being written by Gunn, and he may direct it. I'm not a big fan of James Gunn. I'm very skeptical of his reign over DC. I don't know if he's the proper person to write a Superman script, just because of all the scripts he's written are more zany, out there, more comedic, more childish humor. I could always be proven wrong. So, moving on, we have a Lanterns TV series coming up. It's gonna be like a terrestrial-based True Detective with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. So the thing with Green Lanterns is that they are basically space cops. And why are they stuck on Earth? Why aren't we facing Atrocitus and the Red Lanterns, or the Yellow Lanterns and Sinestro, or, you know, for fuck's sake, just give us anything. Weren't the purple or pink lanterns, I can't remember which color they were, a bad guy for a while with Star Sapphire, I believe her name was. Like, there's a bunch of really good lantern villains out there. I mean, some of them are probably on Earth, but why don't we delve deep into the Lantern Corps, like just all of them, just the rainbow? I mean, it could be really interesting. It could lead into a Blackest Night type storyline eventually down the line. The TV show might be a good idea. I have no idea, but I think that the Lanterns really need to be out in space, not on Earth. That's just my opinion, though. They're making a movie called The Authority, who I did not know were a thing. Yeah, if I don't know who the fuck these people are, what the fuck are we doing? The Authority, of all superhero teams you can bring in the Authority. I mean, I guess Jim Lee wrote it originally, but like, I don't know. It seems weird. What they're pitching right now is that it's more like they don't operate in black and white. They operate in the gray of everything. I don't see why we're building up these smaller things when we should be building up to a lot of the bigger characters originally, because again, like I said, those characters are very influential on building those smaller characters up. Think about the MCU, how they took some C-list characters, sure, because that's all they had at the point in time. But they eventually built those characters up so they could build up the Guardians of the Galaxy eventually, which were a D-list team before they came in. But we're starting off with D-list teams. James Gunn, I understand that you did Guardians of the Galaxy and it turned out really well for a lot of people. But the thing is that you gotta have a basis for Guardians to operate in. They couldn't just come out in the third movie and be like, the Guardians of the Galaxy. No, that's not how you build this thing up. Like, it just doesn't seem right. They're making a show called Paradise Lost. Apparently it's like a Game of Thrones drama on Themyscira. That's an interesting idea. That's a super interesting idea. I'm very excited for that. I will definitely watch that. That would be really interesting to watch, and I can't wait to how that deals with Diana down the line, because I don't think they announced a Wonder Woman movie in this chapter 1. We're getting Batman back. We're getting Batman Brave and the Bold with Bruce Wayne and Damian. This can work. But if we're doing a younger Superman, and that's not like an origin story, he kind of just showed, this is like his first time showing up. Batman being well into like his mid to late 30s is not a good idea. This is what we had with the Batman vs Superman, where he was in his 40s to almost 50s, and it didn't work out well because now you have an aging Batman and a young Superman. It doesn't make sense because it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, and they're supposed to be best friends and everything like that, which I really hope that eventually works itself out. But I'm happy we're getting a Robin and not Dick Grayson, which I love Dick Grayson. He's one of my favorite superheroes of all time. Better as Nightwing though. We're getting Damian Wayne, which means we're skipping over Jason Todd and Tim Drake, which is an interesting idea, but I don't know how well it'll work. If that makes sense. I hope it will. It should work. But I think they need a lot bit of groundwork here, and they're going to need to have a lot of backing with a Nightwing and maybe a Tim Drake. If they don't need a Red Hood right now, but like I think looking forward to the future, Damian Wayne probably isn't the best choice for Robin, in my opinion. Like right out of the gate, he definitely could be introduced on the line, but like I don't think that Damian Wayne is the perfect choice out of the gate. This Batman is not going to be Robert Pattinson. I think we've all known that there's going to be 2 Batmans operating at the same time. And moving into that, there's the Batman Part 2 is what it's going to be titled, is coming out in 2025. Super interested, super excited. Nothing bored though. We're going to have Superman and Batman in the same year, but all we know is the titles, and basically that's it. Sure, I guess. Ooh, we're getting a Booster Gold series, which is super interesting. Booster Gold is one of the more underrated superheroes that I don't think we talk about a lot, that definitely hasn't gotten a good adaptation so far. I think he was in Legends of Tomorrow for an episode, and I'm pretty sure he might have showed up in Smallville for like an episode or 2. I'm not sure, it's been a while. But yeah, Booster Gold is one of the more fun things, and I think Booster Gold could definitely fit in a chapter 1 if they do him right, obviously. But the thing is that again, Booster Gold a little bit out there. Best friends with Blue Beetle though. Ted Core Blue Beetle, but I know that Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle will be the first DC film to be included into this chapter 1 with Aquaman 2. So they're going to keep Jason Momoa as Aquaman and move into a trilogy, I believe we heard about. That's the idea, at least, that it's on the table. Every character that we've seen so far, the Batman, I guess Henry Cavill wasn't really considered for it, but like Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot and Ezra Miller, which is a really bad choice, and everyone who has been cast before has the door to be open to come back as these characters. Do I think they should? No way, because you can't keep bits and pieces. You gotta get rid of it all, if not most of it. You can't. The big hitters can't stay. Your big 7 or whatever you want to call them cannot stay here if you want to move on. I think that Jason Momoa being Lobo would have been great for a Superman legacy film. I mean, you can recast them into other things. I just don't think that keeping this cast, well, I think it was a great cast when it originally came out, is good to keep here. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's a good idea. Anyways, moving into it, we're going to get a Supergirl film called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Why are we moving to Supergirl yet? Why are we moving to Supergirl already? We're building characters that don't need to be built up right now. I think Supergirl would be great for a chapter 2. Great. That works perfectly fine. but we don't need her right now. Like, we can be building up, Diana, pretty good fucking character right there. You have sitting right in front of you, especially a female character. If you're trying to look for a female character to build up, if they're trying to use a Supergirl for the Flash film, makes sense. But I don't think they're going to do that unless James Gunn is really committed to this Flash film, because I think I saw something online that he said it was like the greatest superhero film of all time, which, again, if James Gunn thinks that already, I think he's delusional just because of what we've seen so far. Sure, it could be a good film, but I don't think it's going to beat the greats of the great, like Watchmen or The Dark Knight, or even the Batman, or any of those other films. Those are just DC films that I named off. We can go into the Spider-Verse, No Way Home, Avengers Infinity War. There's a bunch of other superhero films that I don't think the Flash can compete with or even try to imitate because of how rocky that script has been through. I mean, it's been through 4 directors at this point, I think, and it's been through countless rewrites. Now we have Michael Keaton, but not Michael Keaton, because the Batgirl film got canceled because they didn't want Michael Keaton to be Batman. Countless rewrites. I don't think that this film is going to be any good, but, again, the door can be left open. Again, I don't think we should keep Ezra Miller. And finally, closing out the chapter 1 that they're doing is a Swamp Thing horror film. Interesting idea. Again, chapter 1 should really be setting up things, but like I said, interesting idea. I think it could work because Swamp Thing is probably one of the most underrated characters we still haven't gotten to see on screen. I think that Swamp Thing could be one of the better films of this whole slate. I'm putting a lot of trust in James Gunn here that I don't think is deserved just yet, because we haven't seen anything from him. So I think a lot of people are coming out and be like, we trust him, this looks great, and this looks awesome, like there's a lot of new ideas and stories. Sure, that's great, but we haven't seen him do anything yet. And a lot of people were looking for his head already because we haven't seen anything yet. It's just, we got 2 sides of things, and I think it's good to be skeptical, like the people who want his head, and it's okay to be excited for the people who are excited for these films that come out. And I'm right in the middle. I think that a lot of these projects look good, and they look like fun. I think that they need a lot of care, and they need to be properly done to work well. Again, I don't know if Gunn's the one to do that, but I have to be skeptical here and be a little bit excited for everything that he has. I'm going to be pick and choosing things to be like, this looks interesting, I'll watch it, but right now, I keep my foot in the door. Getting more DC, which is always better. I've always been a DC fan since I was a kid, since the Justice League shows and everything from that. That's just me. Marvel has never been like my particular cut of tea besides Spider-Man, so needless to say, I'm very excited to get more DC projects, especially having Elseworld projects happen with the Joker film and the Batman Part 2. Should we make a Joker 2? Don't ask me. But yeah, thank you guys for watching on the Bed Deck, and remember to subscribe. It is always free, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good night.